Okay, I believe we're probably live at this point. Yes, sir. Yep. Okay, perfect. Live with no viewers. That's perfect. Give me a chance to get set up. All right. Well, the market opened up today. The S&P opened higher than yesterday's close, and it's been steady down all day and lower than yesterday's previous low. Here's the 1 minute chart. Here's the previous close. Here's where it opened higher. Immediately came down, went sideways, and it's fallen down. No housing starts came out today that were positive, or there were a lot of them anyways. I'll turn on CNBC Business. I've been watching it this morning. I'll turn it on my phone here and see see if they've got any information that I will relay to you all.
Sunrise to last lit.
I just have to turn the volume off. Let me put a little bit of space between these two. Bitcoin's been did pretty well since yesterday's since the market closed yesterday. A lot of talk about AI on CNBC Business. So this was right around the market close yesterday. 30-minute. Went up, down, and then it's been having a pretty good run to the upside. Bitcoin has. It got out of that choppy range for a while that it was chopping at after the big drop recently. It's pulled back down to the top of that range. Usually when the market's going down, it takes Bitcoin down with it. This week hasn't been correlating all that much, if at all. However, today, perhaps it would have rallied stronger had Bitcoin not been doing this. Bitcoin, like I said yesterday, has a lot of positive fundamental catalysts, so it's a little surprising that it's been struggling this week and over the weekend. Maybe that's ready to turn around. I do have some MSTR puts from yesterday where it was looking like it was going to drop, and so I may need to reevaluate those, but I will evaluate this as I do the stream. See where the price is going right now. I'm going to hold on to them for now. Right now, doesn't look real great on the 1 minute chart. So we'll see. We'll see if it gets back into the chop range. Maybe even back to the bottom of it. A full-on reversal. We'll see. The 1 minute chart's not looking too hot, so I'll let that play out a little bit. I'll check my Robinhood, get an idea of things a little differently. Get daily percentages easier. Okay, SPY, what we're watching here is down 0.44%, 0.45% on the day. GameStop's heading down, but still holding pretty decent levels. It's down 1% at 26.50. Open is recovering today. Open is actually up almost 10% on a strong recovery there. I have that chart pulled up here. We're going to look at it. This is the 1 minute chart on Open. It opened higher than yesterday, ran up immediately, and then it's been sideways since. There's the daily chart. Ran up into the 10s, held that area pretty decent, and now it's dropped, but holding up around 8, okay. The 1 minute chart's playing out on Bitcoin. 1 minute chart's not looking good on Bitcoin. I think we're going to come down a little bit. I have AGQ for silver up. See how it's doing. AGQ down a little bit. Anytime this stock's down, I see it as a better buying opportunity. I mean, because it's silver, it's just different than a company. All right. Bitcoin's holding this little support area right here pretty well. However, not really bouncing off of it. Bounced off of it here, but came back to it. It's holding it right now, but it's holding it sideways. It can't hold sideways forever. Well, obviously, but just because its most recent move was downward, holding it is bearish to me. Because there already should be more buying pressure than selling, given that it just worked down. And since there's not, indicates to me that the buyers will run out and the sellers aren't running out. One minute chart on the market is it's still just going down basically. Not exactly steady down, but It's going for lower right now for new daily lows. Almost there. It's bound. It got right to it, and now it's giving a little bounce. But I would expect it to fall through for lower low for today, given that it just got back to it. Nothing's going to change other than it's giving a little bounce right now. Just because it got back to the lowest low, a little be seen as a low price, but yeah, it's going for lower. Right now it is. What that means for the market longer term, it's hard to say. It's so extended, but it's so strong. A lot of room to the downside, but a lot of strength. That it's really dependent on what is going on in the world, what the reports are. One interesting thing, though, is like a really good jobs report could be bad for the market, indicating no more rate cuts for the year. The market probably wants a semi-bad or expected job report. Probably don't want a terrible one to the point that it's unrecoverable, although market does love rate cuts. Bitcoin here, I think it's going to go lower than this little previous low at around at 113,339. It's close. See, this is the daily candles for Bitcoin, and yeah, that move from yesterday to this morning was pretty strong, gave a pretty strong daily candle. So that's a pretty heavy bounce. That's a realistic spot it could bounce. I suppose. A fair amount higher than this previous low, which is a positive sign. And actually, it looks like it may be kind of in line with a bit of a trend line from here to here. I could expand this and give it a bit of a trend line and see. With a bounce of this strength, it seems unlikely that it will reverse right away and come lower So today is probably the day for me to sell the puts. Bitcoin did continue to drop after I bought them as expected. However, didn't drop to 111. I was thinking below 110. It caught itself at a high end of support. And given that it was just falling through this, caught itself at a high end of support. If this does end up being, the true rebound and doesn't go lower or even test it, then that's pretty bullish because it caught itself like relatively high compared to this previous low. Okay, well, Bitcoin is going for lower. I have a feeling the market will weigh on Bitcoin for today while the market's open. I mean, as long as the market's going down, which it may not continue to go down all day. I think it's just a retrace and my phone's messing up. All right, CNBC is reporting that S&P and NASDAQ hit session lows, as we see. You see on the S&P anyways. It typically works together for the most part. Could be a reasonable spot for support here, it looks like. Let's check out the one hour chart. Yeah, we had some choppiness there. Check out the 30-minute chart. Yeah, high resistance point here and decided to break above it and then, kind of use a little higher. So it's got some support anywhere between here and about 658 or 659. So it'd be a pretty reasonable place to hold support. Got a big strong green candle, might be followed by another green candle. May find a spot of support there. It would make sense, I think. Looking back to the previous days, it's a spot that would make sense for support. That area of resistance just below this current price on a couple days ago or whatever it was, that holds up as support because it was a price. Hold on. Sorry about that. Nobody's watching anyway. Oh, I do have one watcher. It was a price range on this point of resistance here The reason this ends up being supported is because they were having trouble breaking this price for higher. Once they decide to break this price for higher, when they come back to it, it's as if it's that there's already a decision that was just made that that it was worth more. So going below it would change the decision. Whereas when it's just a straight line like this, yeah, it was but it wasn't like as big of a decision as this is, because this is like, oh, we're specifically having trouble getting above this price, and then it's woof, okay, we decide we will, and that's why you get a big run at that moment. But when you have just like a steady run, it's more like a split-second decision, not a difficult one that took a lot of, you consider a lot of thought into it or whatever. So if the market's going to hold here, I wonder if Bitcoin will as well. I fell for lower and it's rebounding real strong. I think it might be the right time to get out of my puts with the market being at a support area. Bitcoin. By the way, let me check the chat. If you have a specific question or ticker you want me to look at, let me know. Let me know in the chat. I'm happy to do so. Okay, Bitcoin's recovering. Hey, get out of there. Get out of there. I gotta keep an eye on these puppies. Big puppies. Yeah, Bitcoin's recovering, and so is the market. Bouncing pretty strong, and I'm feeling like it's time to get out of the puts I have on Bitcoin. And if it recovers here, it's breaking out of its choppy range to the high side, totally reversing course, and on the daily chart, on the daily chart, it would be surprising if it just clean runs just straight through, but could definitely do something like this or like this. So it might take a while. Calls may not be the best. I wonder if I should put my money after this, maybe in silver. Hey, get down. These puppies are turning into a menace. They're Anatolian Shepherds. Pretty neat breed. Tough as fucking shit. Fearless. Livestock guardian dogs. I usually don't let them in this room. I decided to leave it open. They're eating up the cat food that's on the floor. That's good. Oh, dogs love cat food. Cats have it good. Cats get the good food. You got fish and everything in their food. Dogs love cat food. So do chickens. Cat food's expensive too. Like twice as much as dog food. Except not now, we're getting the good dog food. $1.50 a pound for good dog food. That seems a little crazy, but I guess it makes a big difference. We'll see. Bitcoin ran into this resistance point here and rejecting semi-strongly. Could be stronger for sure. SPY doing the exact same thing. They're looking the same way. I should get these guys out of here. They're going to turn the monitor off. Get out. Just get out. Come on. Get out. No, whatever. Hit the cord. Okay, the market is not rejecting, I guess, and Bitcoin is reversing as well. It's time. We're talking about China stocks on CNBC. That's a little interesting. I think China stocks are one of. They've had a rough couple days actually, but before that they were being talked about on CNBC as a good buy. China stocks. No one surprised me. And they were talking in that the consumer was rebounding in China. Yeah, I'm going to have to sell these MSTU puts for a loss. That's what I get for betting against Bitcoin. Am I sure I want to do that? Kind of double checked just a second ago, and it did look like that's what I should do. And at this point, it's kind of hitting this resistance. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think it's great to own these MSTU puts, but if you sell, the orders go in 0.05 increments, and so when you buy and sell, you get slightly screwed on each way. I mean, you have to put your price in for what the bid or ask is. I'm hesitant to sell, sort of at low resistance point now. Could be interesting to see where it moves from here. I mean, it is looking strong, but it has just ran up quite a bit. Wouldn't be surprised if it gets sent back down. I may just want to keep my eye on it for a minute, I think. When I was thinking I should sell it right here in this moment, that would have been a great spot, I guess, because it jumped up a bit, but it's not all that much so either. It's looking strong again though. But the market's been strong off the bounce too, and like I said, it was a very sensible spot to bounce off of right here, because you have this old resistance turned to support plus the support here, and so it made sense to bounce off of that spot. But it's bounced pretty strong, pretty hard, and now it kind of makes sense to settle down. Although I'm not sure what's selling off the market other than just typical basic retracing. I'm going to shut the door now that they're out of here. It's kind of annoying. So the market's at nearly the daily lows. It's down for the day. It has recovered a bit. Bitcoin yesterday after market closed up until a couple hours ago, it was running real good. Well, actually, the market closed here, and it was running good at first, but it did have an even lower low right at midnight. But ever since midnight, it's been having a strong run, and it's just pulled back. I guess I'm monitoring things. If I was just looking to put my money in anywhere right now, I would probably go with AGQ for silver, maybe China stocks. I wish I knew a little bit more about China, but I think I know YING is a 3x ETF of China stocks. That's probably one I would go for. China's been down the last couple days. Yang is the opposite of that, YANG, Yang. So they're a 3x bear of China. So I've seen that stock's been up this week. Yeah, Bitcoin's mirroring SPY quite closely, which is kind of common. Hasn't been common this week yet so far, though. But yeah, I think Ying or China stocks in general could be good. I think the consumer's rebounding, but I don't know enough about it. I think silver AGQ would be good. S6 may be okay since the market's already down quite a bit.
They say that their guidance on the safe use of Tylenol has not changed, and that basically they recommend talking to a doctor before.
Bitcoin's following so much here. Right, you had a big green for SPY, big green for Bitcoin. Now it's being followed on both sides by a big red candle. I thought right here is probably a decent spot to sell. At this point, it still does look strong, but it's coming up against a pretty good amount of resistance. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. But I definitely might be holding these puts for too long. I wouldn't buy them right now if I just had the cash sitting in the account. I wouldn't be buying them. Probably be invested in AGQ. It's having a down day today. It's just one I count on. Maybe China stocks and maybe minimize AGQ. Maybe China stocks and maybe SFIX. Shorten the VIX. You have to be careful with that though. See if there's any questions in the chat. No, and I lost all my people. We're talking about the chip equipment. I know, but that's important to mention because a lot of people always cite that and view that as a reason that he sees something in the marketplace. In the case of Lamb, in the case of KLA, the reason that you're owning the stocks, the buybacks, that's not the reason that you own these stocks. You own these semi-equipment names that are fully participating in the build-out of the artificial intelligence infrastructure. And they're in the right place. They're sitting next to companies like NVIDIA and Broadcom. They
direct relationships with both of them, and they're seeing significant expansion in terms of profit margins and earnings growth. That's one of the reasons why we have ownership. Okay, Jenny Uber's on the list. $20 billion announced August 6th. Charles Schwab, $20 billion announced on July 24th.
All right, Bitcoin's running up for a little higher. Pretty good move by Bitcoin on the 1 minute chart. And the market had a pretty good move, but it's steadying out here. Still near daily lows pretty well for the market. Get the whole day in there. But it's a decent bounce. Trying to get yesterday in there. We could change to the 5 minute chart. Here's where today started. So it's still lower than any of the lowest points from yesterday. Back to the 1 minute chart. Bitcoin's looking pretty good though. Check out the 5 minute. Yeah, Bitcoin's looking pretty good on the 5 minute as well. The thing is, I don't feel terrible about not getting those puts sold on MSTU, because when it gets up to these resistances, it usually doesn't just blast right through them. It'll chop, and if it chops sideways, then I'll know to sell the puts, because if it gets to resistance and just goes sideways, it is most likely going to blast through it once you run out of sellers. And there's a chance that it gets to resistance and it pulls down sharply, which would be more bearish. And then maybe I could consider continuing to hold them, I guess. And there's a chance that it just rejects before it even gets there. But it's looking pretty strong right now. All these little moments, if it wasn't going to be strong, should be rejecting pretty strong. For it to even be hesitating and going for more is pretty strong. Like I say, there's a lot of good fundamental catalysts for Bitcoin lately. Increased adoption. Once you starts using it, banks and stuff instead of gold for currency backup, that'll be huge. Jushesh, however you pronounce that, fucking bank, they just announced that they're planning on doing that. So I think in 2026, a lot more adoption. There's a lot of more adoption every year and all the time. This year there was a lot more as well. I think 2026 you'll continue to see like big increases, because there's still, when it comes to money reserves and gold and stuff, there's still a lot more adoption that Bitcoin could be having. And also with investments, a lot of companies are starting to invest in Bitcoin, but it can increase from there too. So I think Bitcoin's got a bright future. Betting against him in the short term was pretty risky. But here you have this down and then choppy action, which usually indicates it's going to fall for further, and it did keep falling for further, which makes it even more surprising that it totally reversed course. But when Bitcoin's at a good price like this, like I was saying yesterday, it could reverse course to the upside at any time, because whales can see it as a good price, and load up on it, where they may not have been. When Bitcoin has bullish indicators, it's much more reliable, I would say, because when it's bearish indicators and things are going down, some big bulls can always turn that around with big purchase when they find it to be a good buying thing, a good buying price, a good price for Bitcoin, good value. When it's running up, it's not really the same way. Market is looking pretty strong from this point at least, because not only did it have a pretty strong bounce, it's not having a strong pullback. So yeah, that looks strong for right now, and Bitcoin's looking strong. I should probably go ahead and exit this.
Some build with bricks, I build with bytes.
Builders don't see roadblocks. They see prototypes.
Some say things never change. They're not builders. Builders don't just dream. They deploy.
Because I built
This sideways action from SPY though, after the bounce back, is downward. It's a slight downward. I saw that as a good sign because since it just had a pretty strong bounce back, the downward action could have been a lot steeper. However, it is downward and it is not really turning it around yet.
We're back on halftime. I'm Kate Rogers with your CNBC News update. 2 people are dead after a shooter opened fire at an Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention facility in Dallas from a nearby rooftop this morning. Police say the 2 dead includes the shooter, and 4 total were shot. The FBI says it's investigating the incident as targeted violence, and that early evidence shows bullet rounds include anti-ICE messages. President Trump promised Arab leaders he won't allow Israel to annex the West Bank. Political reporting, the president made that promise in a closed-door meeting at the UN on Tuesday, and the U.S. team presented the administration's plan to end the war in Gaza.
All right, Bitcoin or SPY on the 1 minute starting to move a little higher in that little sideways area. Bitcoin going for more too. This is the moment I should probably be getting the orders ready. There's a shooting at the ICE facility today. CNBC just reported 2 people killed. I think it said 1 was the shooter. 1 must have been an ICE official. That's too bad. Okay. Go ahead and take my spanking on these. I guess I could put the order in. The bid is 0.15. The ask is 20 cents. I guess I'll put the order in for the ask price, and I can probably still get in at 15 cents if I have to chase it. You never know which way this is going to break, though. Doesn't look like I'll be able to sell a lot of these puts. Oh, these 550 ones are still worth 50 cents. Heck, actually, I only bought them at 45 cents, so that's actually a bit of a deal. Okay, I just sold those $5.50 puts for 50 cents, which was really just strike price. I bought them for 45 cents, so at least I made on those. I lost on the other ones. It looks like the other ones haven't sold yet, and I should probably update that for 15 cents. On the market, coming on the positive end of this wedge, it looks to me like it's going to break for higher, probably pretty explosively, and Bitcoin's going to also do the same. That's what it's looking like to me. Take about a 50% loss on these puts. Done. I don't think I can sell the 451s. I only bought them for 5 cents. Nobody wants them. They're probably worth holding on to. So I have super out of the money MSTU puts and super out of the money MSTU calls expiring for this Friday. Just because I can't sell them. It sells in 5-cent increments. There's no buyers. But I have a lot more of the calls than I do the puts. 66 calls, only 5 puts. But now I have some money I need to put to work. And I probably will put it in AGQ. Although, Bitcoin, if it looks so strong to me, why don't I put it in there? The reason was because I think it's going to go like this. And so I should wait until, I like to wait until right before the big breakout. I'm buying Bitcoin itself would be okay, and I could buy MSTR stock actually. I don't know about MSTR calls though. I don't know if the move's going to be explosive enough. Is it one? Is that 952? That must be this mark. Yeah. Okay. Well, it is looking like it'll probably break 952. If it breaks 952, there's nothing in its way till it gets there. These were just straight up drops. Maybe I should get into Bitcoin. MSTU at least. Okay, let's see how it rejects from here. This was the spot I was going to wait for, and I decided not to wait. I don't think it's going to... The market's at like the same exact spot, kind of, and... the market looks strong. Doesn't look like it's... If the market goes past... I think they're going to do the same thing. And I think the market's going to go past it. Now, if Bitcoin goes past here, probably breaks this 14,000 mark, which is the last thing that's in its way, actually, until it gets... Even that didn't even chop. I wouldn't even expect it to hold up. I think it'll be running up to the 14,700. Not a huge move, I guess. That's here. I think it could... Or it could run even higher, I suppose. Okay, I should probably get in one of them. Looks like the market's about to break for higher, and I think Bitcoin's going to too. It just rejects, but I don't think... Let's see. I should probably mostly buy stock, but maybe I'll get a call. What will MSTR do if it does that? MSTR. Looking at go back to Bitcoin. Go to the daily. I know what price I was looking at, but yeah, it's not quite the previous. Back to MSTR. Looking at the daily. So we're looking at a price between here and here if we're relating it to Bitcoin, which is about 380, 60 points. Let's see, 60 on 332. 18%. That would make MSTU It goes about 35% or 36%. Maybe it's not going to break to the upside, but I think it will. It might just have one more little sell in it. So I think this is the right time to go for it. So MSTU, if it had 33 would be about 150. We'll take it for next Friday. I mean, I take it to 650. That'd be 5x. If it goes to 650, if the price targets work out that way, a $6 call for next Friday would get 5x return. So would a 550 call. Even a $5 call would get good return. Would get over 4x. Interesting. I'm going to try to get them for 0.15. That would be a steal. Shit, this is the moment. Okay, those didn't execute. Shit, this is the moment. I might be missing the moment. Well, they're not executing. I should probably update them and just pay the price. I'm just not sure which one I wanted more so. But this one is probably better. $5.50 call for 20 cents or $5 call for $5 call for 40 cents. I mean, if it goes to 650, if it goes higher than that, the $5 call is a bit safer. It's at about $5 now. $5.50 might end up worthless for the $5 one. Oh, they executed for. Okay, well, no more decision to be made. The order that I had in there for lowballing them executed. Yeah, I think it's going to break for higher. I think it just needs one more little hesitation here. Okay, so I'm back in on long on the Bitcoin. That feels better. Doesn't feel great right now, though, because I was seeing all the bearish signs yesterday, and things, I guess, possibly just reverse course. But like I pointed out, it was kind of a weird time to reverse course. What are we looking at here? There we go. So weird time to reverse course, I feel like, because this looking like the bottom is going to come out. When the bottom comes out, I mean, you can have the old reversal, but it wasn't just one time, it was a bunch, and yeah, it makes some sense, I guess. Seems not the most normal pattern to break out of a bear run, but a little bit of a reversal makes some sense, I guess. So I still have these puts, which aren't the best, but that's okay. So my MSTU $6.50 calls for 5 cents. I don't mind those anymore. I think MSTU, that's for this Friday. Yeah, that sucks. The ones for next Friday you can get for 5 cents, and that's not too bad. I think the MSTU will get to 650, get above 650 probably by then. MSTU $5 calls. That looks like they're already up a bunch from where I bought them. Or no, I guess not. Bought them for 35 cents. That's for next Friday, not this Friday. I think that's a pretty good deal. MSTU's at $5.07 now. You get that for $5.35. Yeah, it's out of the money, or it's well above the strike, but it's not out of the money. It's in the money on the strike price, but the price is a lot higher than the execution price. But there's potential for big return on that. 5x. I mean, I think MSTU goes above 650. If it gets to 650, then that'll be worth 150. So that's a little over 4x. $5.50 calls for. I got them for. I got them for 17 cents. Wow, I put in the price for 20. Got them for 17 cents. That's a nice buy. I like it. If it goes to 650, it'll be worth $1, and that'll be over 5x. Yeah, I really like that. Maybe I should probably sell my Moderna. My Moderna puts. I have a few of them, but it was reported a couple weeks ago that the administration was going to announce make an announcement and link childhood deaths, like certain childhood deaths, to the COVID vaccine, which was going to crush on Moderna. And Moderna just loses a lot of money, and their chart looks like shit. But they just did that conference the other day, and they didn't talk about that. They just talked about Tylenol. All right, Bitcoin's breaking higher right now on the 1 minute chart. It's getting close to this 13,952 level, which breaking above that would be substantial. It just broke above this resistance level, which is impressive, especially because the market has almost the same pattern, because they've been moving the same way on the 1 minute. And the market didn't break for higher when Bitcoin did. The market's actually been working lower. I think it still will break for higher, but just the fact that Bitcoin did it first, it's pretty strong for Bitcoin. Monday, Bitcoin was going down as the market was going up. That was pretty weak for Bitcoin. So yeah, broke this resistance area, which pretty quickly too, without even stuttering much, which is impressive. I wouldn't expect it to do the same thing here. I do think it'll break it within a day or two. Well, no, not even two. This is the 1 minute chart. I mean, it'll break it probably even today. if not today, tomorrow. But I don't think it'll break it right away like it did to this one. I mean, there was a little bit of a chop, but hardly at all. I think this will probably have more pullback and more choppiness and have to test it more than it did here. I mean, although it did give 2. It got 2 rejections, and then on the third one it broke above, so it could be the same number maybe, but they'll be spaced out more, I think. And probably, if you count the close ones, yeah, it'll probably be more, I think. And right now it's rejecting before it even gets there. But it should hold above this level here. It should hold above 113.775. Just broke that resistance level. Okay, to 774. Yeah. Don't make a liar out of me. Need it to bounce from here. Ooh. It is going down. May get the old reversal. Whoa, the market's dropping too. Yeah, they might both drop. Got a bit of a reversal here. No! Don't do that. No, no, no. No. Leave it. Leave it. Okay, Bitcoin did pull back above that 775 mark that I had labeled as good support that it should have held. Just dipped below it, just briefly, pulled back above. Meanwhile, the market is falling, continuing to fall. Not for new daily lows, but it is falling out of that sideways range to the downside. Not falling, but it's working to the downside. I think it might reverse course. It's kind of reversing right now, starting to, of what could be a reversal. I think it might reverse course, but still impressive that Bitcoin was going up as the market was doing that. However, as I say that, SPY is reversing course on the 1 minute to the upside. Bitcoin is putting in a huge red candle to the downside. Broke below that support again, and now reversing back to the downside, and yeah, that seems kind of bearish. CNBC starting right now. Let's see what they got to say.
Treasuries just a weaker across the curve. Yields are up.
Copper's up 3.7%. Gold down 1.5%, 1.8%.
From the PCE report on deck for this Friday, the 10-year yield at 4.14 is basically back up to its post-Fed decision high. Markets are kind of digesting a lot of this. Even a really good housing starts number this morning and wondering if we can really bank on the two cuts remaining for the rest of of this year. And the overall equity index, it feels like they're showing some fatigue in this potential seasonal weak spot.
We always look at the Bank of America flow survey. What it showed last at the end of the most recent week was that there are the most outflows when it comes to the growth stocks, the large cap tech stocks, communication services, and the inflows were into small caps.
Yes.
So we are seeing that play out here.
And there is a bit of a relief for the laggards trade. I mean, energy's up a couple percent this week, and you see some of the fertilizer names are leading the way today. So who knows if that's going to be an emerging theme. Well, shares of Alibaba are surging after the CEO unveiled plans to boost AI spending. But is this a wake-up call for Washington? For more, let's bring in Christina Parts-Nevel. Christina.
Well, Mike, Alibaba joining the AI trend of making these multi-billion-dollar promises. The Chinese tech giant pledging, like you said, $53 billion over the next 3 years to build new models, infrastructure, and advanced.
Alibaba is up 8.5% today. There's a China stock for you.
More than $32 billion on AI next year, more than double 2023 levels. These promises really come at a time when Beijing, we know, has banned NVIDIA H20 chip sales to domestic firms to really speed up homegrown chip efforts. Progress is definitely being made, but Alibaba says it will still use some of NVIDIA's development tools in its cloud software systems and really integrate NVIDIA tools into Alibaba robots and self-driving cars, aka physical AI. The spending announcement, though, does carry some significant political weight. Why do I say that? Because a source told me this morning that China's premier toured Alibaba's facilities and was shown its custom, its PPU chip, what they're calling it. Yeah, it's TPU, PPU, all different names. But he told me that it was outperforming NVIDIA's H20 on every metric. These inspection tours, though, are highly choreographed. Lots of media, and doing this publicly shows top-level confidence in China's ability to compete in advanced AI. Alibaba shares, you can see they are up about 8% to their highest level in 4 years. However, if you look on a 5-year basis, the stock is down about 34%. The market reaction, though, shows how strong the global appetite for AI is right now. And the U.S. side of it may be saturated. There was a research firm note from Vital Knowledge up this morning saying that AI momentum is maybe moving to Hong Kong, where overall a lot of these names have cheaper valuations. For U.S. markets, though, it likely means more urgency to secure chip supply chains and more scrutiny of NVIDIA's continued business with these Chinese tech giants, guys.
Well, you also think, Christina, if they're going to spend this much and they can't really buy NVIDIA chips that perform well, and they could possibly make their own or get them domestically from other chip providers, that on the U.S. side is the chip companies they're completely going to miss out on this next wave of the AI boom in terms of spending. If the U.S. is in fact saturated and the next wave, according to Vital Knowledge, is in Asia, then all these chip makers here are just going to miss out.
Well, especially with those export controls, right? To your point, so they're going to miss out. The investors would miss out if they're heavily invested on the AI stack front over here, and then on the American, the CEO front, and all of these tech CEOs that are arguing for be part of this big investment.
Nice! 9. time I change this home screen part of Webull app, it changes all the widgets. So that's super lame. If anybody knows how to prevent that, let me know. I'm having SPY on the left and Bitcoin on the right. So why am I not getting the option to make the SPY one bigger? Okay, so that was annoying. Well, look at that. While I was gone, the market did rip for higher, did reverse like I thought it would, and surely Bitcoin did the same. Oh yeah, it did. Strongly too. Let's go. Let's go. Perfect. Look at that. I thought it was gonna reverse course and go for higher. It was working down, but not down strong enough. And then Bitcoin breaks over this, pump fakes down, pump fakes up, goes down, reverses course for higher. Oh! It broke this all-time high. I thought it was going to hesitate. That's super bullish that it just blasted through it, even if it reverses now. Boom. What does that mean? That must mean somebody's like watching it without watching it. Super bullish that it blasted through this all-time, or this previous high. That was not very long ago that it did that. That already, I guess. So what time was this when this happened? 10 o'clock? So at 10 o'clock this morning, these are in Eastern time, I think. at 10 o'clock this morning, it chopped at the top of the range here and blasted for higher. And then when it came down, it caught it at the resistance point, and now it's blasting for higher. Fuck yeah, those calls are probably printing. The market did the same thing. Basically, they're in lockstep. So what I was doing was adding some different charts. It messed up all the widgets, and I had to redo everything. But first, I'll just look at MSTR. But yeah, I added Alibaba. They're having a big day today, and I did catch what the news was on them, and it is sounds pretty positive. And yeah, they allowed a tour with the media in there, and the reports was that their product was beating Nvidia's on all categories, something like that. I'll go back and listen to it again. But anyway, I was already mentioning China stocks. Now, this is not that. This is MSTR. Why is MSTR doing this? What the fuck? What the hell? Bitcoin just ripped. What's going on? Bitcoin's ripping on the 1 minute chart. Why is... They're going to have some catch up to do then. Dude, fuck it. I'm going to buy more fucking calls. If MSTR is going to be going down like that while Bitcoin's going up, and you have some separation, Bitcoin's looking bullshit shit. So it did reverse from breaking the high, but it's gonna fucking blast it for more. It already broke it. It's just a reversal, just a spot to sell, but it's gonna blast for more, and it'll chop at this range, but maybe it won't actually. Could get back up into here, 116. Probably go to around here. Maybe not in a straight line though. It might hesitate right here. Maybe not much. Get its ass back up to at least 115. And how would that be on? God damn it, get rid of these. Yeah. So it's falling for new daily lows, MSTR is. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's doing really good. I mean, it is reversing down a bit, but it's not like I don't think it's going to be a full reversal. Just a little retrace. I'll see if I can snag some of those MSTU calls for anything, any good deals. Whoa, looks like I can get the $5 call. Oh yeah, because it's been going down. Fuck yeah, I can get them for a much better deal. Let's go. Yes, sir. Let's get the MSTR chart up here for a minute while I make this deal. And we'll go 550. That one I save. Okay, I got 8 for 112. Okay, I got more $5.50 calls for 10-3. 10-3. This Friday after this Friday. I got damn, I forget. I think it was 8 for 112. 14. Yeah, it was 8 for 112. Alright. I just got some more MSTR. What is going on? Back to the SPY and Bitcoin. So SPY has rebounded well off of its daily lows. Looks like it's reversing course. Strong rebound, sideways action, drooped down, but I was saying I think it's going to reverse higher, even though it's drooping down. Just because it had already rebounded strong, and I expected if it was not going to sustain that, it would pull down sharper than to chop and go only slightly down. Okay, then another steep run up. Now we got a steep drop, but that's a little bit expected, and I think it'll hold this support somewhere in here. Should hold support. Bitcoin, really strong move to the upside. It's broke for new recent highs, and or a higher high. It broke for a higher high than just what was just a little bit ago. It broke for a higher high from just where it was at about 10:30, and there is no other higher high coming until you get back to where before it fell off the cliff when it was in the 114,000 range, and even that's not much of a high. It was more of a stutter there. Really don't get to a higher high again until you get to 116. I was saying yesterday, when it comes out of the rebound, out of the lows, I think it's going to rebound really strong because there's such a strong fundamental catalyst for it, and the lower it gets, I think people are going to recognize that big money's going to take the opportunity. And so hopefully it didn't get as low as I thought it would, but hopefully this is still the still the strong bounce that I was hoping for. That was really strong. It was really strong to break above this resistance so fast with strength, and then broke above this resistance only for a second, and it reversed, strongly reversed down. But I think that's just typical retrace. Good opportunity to sell the algorithms and everything else, new high, but the reality is it was strength. And it's going to be most likely followed up higher. Because you already saw what investors really liked, what really won out, and that was buying. Buying it at this price won out only for a second, but it's still at a time where that same price, they didn't want to do that earlier, and now there's a bit of a mind change after it got up there with strength. You can see that there is a change in opinion, a true change in opinion on what the price should be. Bitcoin should hold this level that it's at now. And the market, the same thing. The market pulled down, as I mentioned. It should hold around this level. It did go a little bit below it, but hardly at all, and looks like it's going to hold up that level, support level. Called for that earlier. Bitcoin's at a similar thing in this range here where it should hold, and it should hold. It did try to hold right here, there, though, at a very appropriate area, and it fell through, but it's recovering. I think the market and Bitcoin ought to recover from here. This was yesterday. Way up, back down to the open. Actually, no. These are 2 different days. This is 2 days ago. This is yesterday. This is today. Today, down, sideways, down, recovering strongly. You can see it getting back up to here. It ran through here quickly. All split-second decisions, price movements, gaps on the buys and sells, or just jumps anyway. Not a lot of orders in, and quick movement. So I think the market finishes. I think it's quite possible that the market gets itself back up to here, around 662. SPY SPY gets back to around 662 and or higher. I think very possible. Go higher. It's looking strong right here. Got a higher high, higher low. If you really wanted to, you could say, let's see what these, and actually you got 3 lows you should really work off of. But I'll show you something that I think is good. So you got 3 lows you could work off of here. Perhaps the other angle is better, but just in terms of angles, right here is probably decent. Or anyway, something like that. That's about the right angle. See how it lines up with this. You could put it here, here, or maybe here would be appropriate. Anything like that, it's the right angle, so that's the important part. And that'll get you by to about where I was talking. You know, it's a steep line, but it's short term, and you know, hit it around here. It's the exact right spot, so that's a likely spot. But just to show, these lines are parallel, like close to parallel usually, if it's in a channel. So if you feel like, you know, you got the support line, which a lot of times on the bounce is easier to judge, you could actually put that line here, or that is what we had, because it's good to intersect there, but now it's parallel because you just slid it. We can leave that on. It's not real important because I wouldn't expect it to go higher, but wow, while I was doing that, Bitcoin really had a good run. Look at that. Bitcoin back up to the high. Holy shit, Bitcoin ran hard and fast, I guess. Damn, I was talking too long. It had many candles going down as it retraced from the high, and much less candles. Took about a third of the time or less, probably, to go up than it did on the retracing going down. It caught itself right around where I was saying it should catch itself, where it had good support. This area is good support. Because right here it decided, here it decided not worth it. More, overall, there's more investors saying, rather sell it than buy it here. It gets back up to this price and they rethink that decision, and it's thought about a bit, and it's ultimately, yeah, it's worth more. So it gets right back to here. It's support now because it just decided that it was worth more. No reason to change your mind now. It's support. Sometimes you get a quick change of heart, but even that's pretty much just selling based on, the price that it's at being the all-time, like just a one-time thing is what I'm saying. Okay, it's going for new highs again, it looks like. It didn't make it, but it's very close. Maybe you get that one-time selling pressure this time, but I don't think so. There's too much strength on this movement. This is a blast off. This is going to blast through the 14s. It's going to get itself into the mid 14s right away. That's what I think. And the market's going for the same exact movement. These charts are so similar. The charts aren't so similar, but the price action today on the 1 minute has been very similar. is ridiculous. Bitcoin is being so strong. But what did I say yesterday? There was a lot of making up to do because MSTR wasn't going down as much as it should have. Well, that's bullshit. I own the puts. Price of Bitcoin goes down. MSTR isn't affected as much as it should be. Now I buy the calls. Bitcoin's going up. MSTR not as affected as it should be. Not affected at all. It's got to run through the 14s then. That's what it's going to do. Look at it rejected at the 999. Because everybody's got to sell in it right under 114,000. People are just weird with round numbers. People love round numbers, but it rejected there, but it's not going to reject again. You're going to run out of those people. That's what I mean when I say you run out of sellers. It's true. Like there's a lot of people that have a sale at a certain price point, and their sales keep getting filled up, and the price keeps getting there, and eventually there's no more sell orders. All the sell orders got used up. There's no more sellers. It's the same thing with buyers. People always have more money to buy, but they're not always willing to do it. They might, they sink $1 million into it, and that's all they're going to do. And, that's why you have your support points, and because people pick similar areas, or like on a trend line, it's based on basically the percentage of growth. But it's gonna pop through here with some fucking strength. And then where's it gonna go? I mean, it's got to go at least into this range. It has to go at least into here, which is the mid 1400s. It's got to do that like right away. Maybe it'll just blast all the way through into 115, but the market came down strong. That's not gonna help Bitcoin too much. They've been doing their own thing a little bit though. And MSTR, get your act together. What the fuck? Should we blame the NASDAQ? I mean, how far down is the NASDAQ? Jesus. What the hell? This is completely ridiculous. Lower than these lows? Bitcoin's higher than it was. The market's been turning things around. What is Michael Saylor talking a bunch of shit or something? Somebody tell me in the comments, is Michael Taylor, is he fucking shit up? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I just bought calls and it's not moving. It'll move. It'll go on its fucking high. It'll get it. Get with the program. Oh yeah, those Moderna puts. I forgot I was gonna sell those. What's Moderna doing? That'll free me up some money to get some more calls. At this point, I need all the calls I can get if the price is going for daily fucking lows when Bitcoin's going up. Okay, this is the 1 minute chart. It doesn't look too good. It doesn't look too good. Maybe I should just keep it. Moderna looks like shit. They just had positive clinical trial data and shit. And I mean, look at this. Test 23, retest. Yeah, sure, it bounced. But we're right back where we were. And now, I mean, got this little baby bounce from positive clinical trials. Yeah, that's not doing too much. Yeah, I should probably hold on to them. I need to see when earnings are coming up too. I know they're projected to lose $2.02 a share. I can't feel good. There it is. It broke 114.002. Strong rejection, even when the market's going down. That's pretty strong. MSTR just doesn't give a shit. Oh my god, what is wrong with them? They're gonna recover. They gotta recover and go do. I mean, they have a lot of ground to make up now. Bitcoin's at daily fucking high, or I mean more than daily highs. When's the last time Bitcoin was up here? Friday or something. I mean, it was up here on, I guess, Monday, but it was falling like a rock. Sunday, it was above this price, falling like a rock, though. It's ridiculous. It's just trading right at the top, too. Just sitting at the top, not getting rejected at all. Probably a lot of volume and a lot of sellers and a lot of buyers. And meanwhile, the market's going down. What the fuck is wrong with them? If the market would go up, that could just be the last thing Bitcoin needs. Go for it. It was a damn good decision to switch my puts to calls today. I mean, this is no longer a bearish chart. This is not the way I would expect a typical turnaround. I'd expect some bouncing at the bottom with higher lows, and this is just like lower lows, but fuck it. It just went hella strong through all these previous highs for new highs. Maybe when it gets up to here, it rejects extremely strong, and I mean, realistically on a chart basis could go lower, but I think that Bitcoin's too strong I think the fundamental catalyst is too strong for that to happen. And this run has been really strong. Ever since midnight, it's been a really strong run. Pulled it backs have been pretty minimal. And yeah, it just blasting through. It just keeps blasting through previous highs. Maybe I should do a bit of a trend line. Okay, that's the more important one, and it broke it already. It broke that resistance trend line already. And so I don't think that's going to come into play. Oh, look at that strong rejection after nibbling above 114. Yeah, right. Give me a break. That's not going to last. Come on, what's going on here? Used up all the buyers up there? No way. No way. What's going on? Profit taking or what? People decide to take some profit? Okay. The buyers will come back. The sellers are going to go gone. Next time it gets up there, it's blasting through 114 into the mid 114s at least. Oh, well, the market's not helping matters. Jesus. Yeah? Blasted through this fucking trend line. Yikes. Maybe after market hours, Bitcoin will rip its face off. Here's NVIDIA. That's a strong looking chart. The way it goes up and then sideways. Has a retrace, but then bounces right back. Pulls down a lot, bounces right back. Down a bit, bounces right back. Back for all-time highs. But it had, oh, this is when it had that big news story of the partnership. Now you got the news of Alibaba being better than them. I'd be afraid of owning this one anyways. Seems like somebody else can come in and, well, I mean, seems like they won't be, you know, anywhere close to the only one in due time. market fell down quite a bit, but is catching itself here at a very reasonable support area, higher than the daily low. It was caught itself here at the first low off the retrace from the first rebound off the daily low. Bitcoin retraced quite a bit from breaking 114, and it's starting to bounce back. It's getting back into close to 900. The market is now rebounding pretty strong. So it looks like you're going to have the market and Bitcoin both rebounding fairly strongly. I'll turn the CNBC back on. Or actually, it's the end of the hour. I'll turn them on here in a few minutes. Looking to me like going into tomorrow, I will just hold the positions I have. I think Bitcoin is likely to remain strong still. And the market, which I don't really have anything in the market though, but I think that it'll remain strong. I don't know if it'll just keep, I mean, it could bust for new highs, but at some point it is pretty extended. But I don't see it going down unless there's some fundamental reasons for that. New fundamental reasons that are beyond expectations. And I don't think that is going to happen either. Oh, although there is the pending government shutdown. Let me see. I do think that the Democrats will just go for the shutdown, basically. Their way or the highway, and just take the shutdown because they're in pretty much desperation mode. In less than a week. Okay, well, the government shutdown's coming up pretty quick, and the Democrats will probably try to make the government implode as much as possible. Being in touch with it. Hold on. Okay, well, Bitcoin and the market are struggling after the bounce, struggling to maintain that bounce. I put the puppies outside because they're tearing up stuff in here, and also they're not doing good with the whole bathroom stuff. They keep peeing and pooping in here in the house, so. But they were tearing something up. I told them to stop, and they did it some more. But it's not even raining, but it's kind of wet. But they have 2 sheds they can stay in, plus under the back deck or on the back deck. But they can stay in the 2 sheds comfortably. There's hay down on the ground and everything. So don't feel too bad for them. They're just being spoiled. Plus they're Anatolian Shepherds. They're livestock guardian dogs. Most people probably put them outside with nothing, not care. Well, the market is going down again. It's getting it retraced extremely strongly from its little breakout move to the upside. And when it caught itself here at a typical support, it didn't bounce hardly at all, and it's fallen back to that support area. That is not a good sign for maintaining the support. I don't feel like there's that much bearishness in the market for that to be the case, but it is what the chart looks like. That's what the chart looks like. It could turn things around. It's not impossible, but looks like it's going down. I mean, it would look like it's going to break for lower, just the way the chart looks. Went huge drop, and then not much for a bounce at all, so like no buying momentum at all, and then sold right back to where it was, and look at that, as I speak, it went for lower. Went lower than it was there. So that might weigh on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin was looking strong, and considering what SPY is doing, Bitcoin still looks strong. Still just shy of 114,000. Now the market's maybe giving a bounce, but yeah, Bitcoin was looking strong. It did retrace a lot, but it's recovered better than the market. Bitcoin's outperforming the market. What Bitcoin might need is for the market hours to close, or for the market to turn this thing around. It's all bearish here, but maybe Maybe it still recovers strongly before it gets to the daily low, I would think. Bitcoin showing a gap. I don't know how that can happen. There, I corrected it. What's MSTR up to? It's still hanging out right there near the daily lows. Sure thing. Hanging out right near the daily lows. What a piece of junk. How's open doing? Open's having a good day. Looking good too. How is China stock? This is it's not YING. I thought it's, oh no, it was always YINN. It's YINN. This is 3x, so yeah, you can make some money on this one if you're on the right side of China. I mean, there's 3x to SPY too, but still, this thing moves pretty heavy duty. All that good news for Alibaba, and it was having a big day, but it's retraced a lot of that. But yeah, China's been, since April, it's been ripping, and it ripped past this high, where it did hesitate for a moment, but it went past, and now it's dropped down and it's back to it. With the big news today, I would have liked it to go for more, but it's still looking pretty good. Better than MSTR. Bitcoin's still doing some retracing now, but still at pretty good price levels. The market going down as it looked like it would. But there's a green candle, so it's battling. It's not letting the price just drop out the bottom. So I'm doing okay. Silver on the 1 minute ain't looking too hot. On the daily, can't even see it with all these fucking lines all over it. Yeah. I like silver. Moderna. They're doing okay. SPY isn't looking too hot, but it's battling, like I said. They might turn things around still. Oh, I was going to turn the CNBC on. Okay, Bitcoin's falling further than it should be. Bitcoin falling further than it should be. It's still at 113,750 though. I mean, people talk about the Head and Shoulders, that this would be a Head and Shoulders, but really, I mean, Head and Shoulders is just a lower high. Now in this case, it's a lower low and a lower high, which is even worse. So you got your Head and Shoulders, it's a lower high, so then you expect a lower low, if it's going to follow it. And it did. Head and Shoulders. Take a picture of it, post it on your forum. I found a Head and Shoulders pattern on Bitcoin. I'm so good. I'll say that about this too. I'll call this a shoulder. Which, I mean, like, there's no reason to put a name on it. I was pointing out the same thing without putting names on it like that. It's a lower high. And no, I mean, also, when you just say Head and Shoulders, it could look different. Some Head and Shoulders are more bearish than others. Depends how that shoulder looks and the head looks. But this one looked bad, but you don't need to call it Head and Shoulders. You can see why it looks bad. Bitcoin's struggling to rebound off of this recent retrace. The market's rebounding really strong. The bottom fell out, but now it's rebounding really strong, and it's back to where the bottom was. And it looks like it's pushing above the bottom, which would be a total reversal of decisions just a few minutes ago, which it just did do that. That should be strong. That should, I think Bitcoin will go then as well. And now Bitcoin's got its first big green candle. So this looks like a pretty strong bounce from the market. And I suspect Bitcoin will do the same. CNBC is just talking about AI. So they've been talking about a whole bunch. Well, the Bitcoin had a couple minutes of a strong bounce, followed by a very strong rejection.
Closing low, and especially as we approach earnings season, you always think that it could be something earnings related, either in the aggregate, which appears maybe less likely, or at the individual stock level or a group of stocks. So it's something to be mindful of. I also think, though, that we're already seeing a bit of dispersion happening around the AI theme, even among the Magnificent Seven. Only 4 of the stocks within that 7 are outperforming the S&P, and although NVIDIA is still the #1 contributor to S&P gains on a year-to-date basis, that's via the multiplier of its cap size. It's actually ranked number 65 in the S&P just in terms of price performance year-to-date. By the way, it's ranked number 635th in the NASDAQ in terms of price performance. That's another message about this, that individuals should not think they have to have the same kind of concentration problem as exists in the cap-weighted index. There's a lot of performance that can be found elsewhere in the market.
Where else?
Well, some of it is just the AI, the broadening out of the AI story. So you're seeing it in power generation, you're seeing in data centers, you're seeing even in adopters. And that was one of our themes coming into 2025, was you're moving away from just the picks and shovels into a broader sphere representing the adopters. But that said, the where else in terms of pockets of strength in the market, and I'm talking more broadly now than just the S&P 500. I track a lot of these baskets that have been created. Goldman has a ton of them. UBS has the meme stock basket. Speaking of which, it's up over 100% just since the April 8th closing low. You've got heavily shorted stocks doing incredibly well. You've got the non-profitable tech stocks. So in the retail trader world, they've been chasing a lot of these stocks kind of down the quality spectrum, down the size spectrum. What we do tell our clients on that front is that's the kind of stuff you probably want to fade and lean more into higher quality segments of the market.
Yeah, we're showing some names. I know it's one day, but yesterday was energy. It showed some like fertilizer stocks were on the rise. Can the overall market, Lizanne, go up if there's...
I think the market's having a little bit of struggle because some of Powell's statements about
Just by virtue of their cap size, you are going
being
to
wary of
get
further
cash
easing.
indexes. But sometimes
I think investors are realizing there's a reasonable chance
even
of no more cuts
leaders are dragging down
or one
index
more
returns. In fact, if you look
for
at
the rest of the year.
mid to late October bottom in 2022, it was a pretty ugly bottom. You had retested the June lows, but under the surface, you were seeing better performance. So the soldiers were kind of catching up while the generals were retreating, and that was actually a sign of better underlying breadth and made that bottom feel a little bit more resilient as a bottom than what had happened in June. We also had, just as recently as this year, memories tend to be short, in the mid-February to early April period of time when the S&P just skirted a bear market, but you did go into bear market territory for the NASDAQ and Russell 2000. It was many of those leadership names that were more of the drags on performance, and you had this better underlying performance. So that's what I would look for. The fuller story is told under the surface of these cap-weighted indexes.
Yeah, and I don't want the viewer to think that I'm being sort of nasty, negative person up here, but I think markets were sort of your paid story, unpaid.
CNBC says oil prices edge higher, lower U.S. crude stockpiles provide floor.
From a fundamental perspective, it's still within earnings. You had the first 2 quarters of the year where, when all was said and done, earnings in the currencies doubled what we expected at the beginning. And I think that arguably means the bar is set sufficiently low as we head into third quarter reporting season, in part because analysts did not extrapolate that strong first half of the year much into the latter half of the year or into 2026. So I think that's the most important fundamental support. Then you have the more esoteric markets like to climb a wall of worry. There's plenty of things to worry about. So there's sort of this embedded skepticism, even amid other sentiment indicators that suggest there's some complacency and fraud. I think that's more a function of what cohort of investors you're talking about, where there might be complacency or fraud, or where there may still be some skepticism. So, and I also think that the investment side of our economy, notwithstanding the constraints on non-AI related capex due to policy related uncertainty, especially regarding tariffs, I think the investment driven side of our economy is probably one of the brighter, longer term bright spots for this economy.
Well said, as always, Lizanne Saunders, Chief Investment Officer, Charles Schwab. Lizanne, a pleasure. Perfect day. Thank you. All right, coming up, we'll dive into maybe some of those other things we just talked about. What about those things? Play some of the mid-sized banks. Your next guest, man, Russia says no, and he's going to name some names coming up. The Bond Report is brought to you by PIMCO, a global leader in active fixed income. Franklin Templeton ETFs. With over 70 ETFs, we have solutions for every market, helping advisors build the portfolios of the future today. Franklin Templeton, your trusted partner. What's ahead?
A professional basketball court is always 94 by 50 feet. An Olympic-sized pool is 50 by 25 meters. And tennis, 78 by 36 feet. Always, 100% of the time. But golf, it's never the same twice. Just like the ever-changing environments, Citi's expertise and advice helps clients navigate across our global network in 180 markets. Citi, worldwide partner of the Ryder Cup.
The unmistakable, unmatchable 2026 Infiniti QX60.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the Lockbox, weekdays 6 a.m. Eastern, and streaming on CNBC Plus.
All right, welcome back. We can't talk about the Fed without talking about interest rates, and we really can't talk about interest rates without talking about banks, because banks are not only where the money's at, it's where the interest rate rubber meets the road. And we're not just talking about the super banks, the JP Morgans, the Citigroups. Yes, those have had monster years. But we're also talking about many of the smaller or mid-cap regional banks that have made money for investors and maybe even more. And no one knows more about these regional banks than Anton Schutz, his president and CEO. Mendon Capital Advisors. They're fans of what banks are you fishing in?
Bitcoin bouncing pretty well. Coming off the sizable retrace. And the market is hanging in there. Having an okay bounce right at the moment. Yeah, I think what's got the market hurting a little is the rate cut decision forecast for the rest of the year. Investors realize there's a really good chance you don't get any or you only get a quarter. However, how much does it matter when in the spring you're going to have a Fed chair come in and change it all up, be way softer? Alright. Looks like the market, or looks like Bitcoin was having a pretty good bounce, but now is retracing. And the market is at a bit of a standstill. No. Don't mess with this thing either. 5. Come on. Alright. Bitcoin's getting it together, going ahead with the run, and the market is to just slightly for both. Still not bad. The market's still near daily lows, but off of them a okay amount and battling. And Bitcoin is near the daily high, but off of it a fair amount. Oh, good. Okay, the market is breaking to the upside from the little choppy region it was in. And Bitcoin breaking up higher as well. Just from the little choppy region it was just in. Still not anywhere near the daily high for Bitcoin. market's looking pretty strong in the 1 minute chart. Looking bullish. And Bitcoin, yeah. Bitcoin's probably bullish as well. We'll probably move together. I need to get some more milk. Bitcoin's hanging in there. Not really moving too much either way. Same thing with the market. Probably means it'll break to the upside. Bitcoin's not looking too hot. Market's looking better. See what this means for MSTR. Oh, MSTR collapsed for new daily lows not too long ago. Baba? Huh. Baba opened way up, but it's just where it opened, actually. It's not bad. Bitcoin struggling. Market's doing okay. Silver. Open's having a good day still. Moderna. How you doing, Moderna? Moderna not looking too good. Yeah, Bitcoin's going down. Not looking too strong anymore. Oh, the market's going down too. Shit. And they're moving together. They've been moving together all day today. For the most part. Which is typical. But Monday they went different. Lately maybe they've been going more different. Bitcoin's still going down. A little, well, it's hanging in there, but it's down. Market is hanging in there. It's down for the day. Okay, the market's recovering here, bouncing off of this most recent pullback. And is Bitcoin doing the same? It's starting to. It's got a strong green 1 minute candle. Not as strong as the market. Now Bitcoin's picking it up a little. SPY is picking it up as well, really well. It just went for a higher high than its previous high. Yeah, SPY just had a huge run. It's still not nearly as high as its highest point off of the bounce from the daily low, but it's higher than its most recent high after that retrace. SPY is going for more. SPY is looking pretty good. Bitcoin should be looking a little bit better. Well, we're coming up on the last hour of trading. I'll turn CNBC on for the last hour of trading on my phone, monitor it. Bitcoin's hanging in there, should be doing a little bit better. The market's stuttering off of bounce back, which isn't bad. Still pretty bullish. It's coming to the downside, but it's still looking pretty short-term bullish. Bitcoin should be doing better than this. Maybe it was a fake move. It just busted for new highs, though, or higher high. So, I would have expected there'd be something behind it. Market's dropping. Bitcoin's dropping. Not a lot, but a little. Bitcoin struggling. After it retraced, it chopped in that narrow zone there for a little bit, and it's working to the downside of it, which isn't too good of a sign. After such a strong move higher, it's a little surprising, but although the market's probably not helping, it just, after bouncing for higher recent high, it chopped for a minute and then the bottom fell out. It did catch itself much higher than the previous low. Perhaps it's going to fall into a channel. I wouldn't count on it. Well, Bitcoin looks like it might be getting its act in gear. Still in the chop range, but it pulled back to the middle of it with 3 or 4 green candles in a row. It might be, maybe it'll break out to the top, to the high side of that. And the market maybe going to have a little bounce as well. Market's struggling ish. Just kind of hanging steady. Same thing with Bitcoin. And both markets are kind of stable, and